AI tools like Sora 2 and Veo 3.1 have completely changed the way businesses can now create marketing videos online. Now businesses can create hyper-realistic UGC style videos using AI. So in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to create these AI-generated UGC style videos, making sure they're hyper-realistic, convert better, but also 6 times cheaper than if you had to use the OpenAI API. Let's get straight into it. So this right here is the system. Now before we actually run this, let me actually show you what the output example of the system looks like. This is the video 1.
Okay, so after my serum, I just turn this on. This is that Vico Lilac 7-in-1 beauty massager. I just run it up my neck and like along my jaw. You can feel it. It's just a really nice lymphatic drainage moment. Yeah.
So you can see how realistic these UGC style videos are, and that's completely made with AI. Let's go to a different example.
Okay, stop. I literally just got these in. They're the Tozo new version A1 wireless earbuds, and I'm sorry, but this pink, I mean, it's so perfect. They're like super tiny. I'm actually obsessed. Look how small.
So that is another video. We used earphones as the product image, and I was able to create a really hyper-realistic UGC style video, showcasing the zooming in, zooming out, and actually giving a good in-depth product review of the image. All right, here's another video. This one we did it on earbuds.
Okay, stop. I literally just got these in. They're the Tozo new version A1 wireless earbuds, and I'm sorry, but this pink, I mean, it's so perfect. They're like super tiny. I'm actually obsessed. Look how small.
So this video here was a little bit better than the previous video because it actually zoomed in automatically using AI, which is incredible. Made it a lot more realistic, like it was actually a UGC creator creating the video. Now I did also want to mention that this system here uses Kie.AI rather than the OpenAI API to get access to Sora 2. This is because for some reason, I don't know how they actually managed to do this, but Kie.AI is able to be 6 times cheaper than using the OpenAI API. So if you head to OpenAI, you can see that the cost per Sora 2, cost per second, is 10 cents, which is pretty expensive, especially when you're generating a video that's 10 seconds long. That's $1. Or 15 seconds long, that's $1.50. Whereas if you head to Kie.AI, you can see here, if you head to the, oh, actually it says right here. Pricing. Sora 2 costs 30 credits, which is roughly 15 cents per 10-second video with audio and without a watermark. This is so much more cheaper, and this is why we are using the Kie.AI API to get access to the same model, but at a way cheaper rate. And when you're generating 10, 20 videos a day, even more sometimes, the costs per video can add up significantly. That's why it's very important to minimize the cost per video, and that's why it's great that we can use Kie.AI here rather than the OpenAI API. Now, if you do want the system totally free and you want to follow along with me as I go ahead and explain the system, first link in the description is going to be a link to download this system here. All you have to do is click the 3 dots in the corner, click import from file, pick the JSON that you get downloaded to your computer. It's going to upload it to n8n right here. Let's get straight to the video. So this here is the system. It starts off with a form trigger. So let's just execute this workflow and run this basically. Now before we actually do this, let's go find a product. So we need to have a product file as well as the product name. The best way to do this is let's just go to Amazon. The best kind of items are physical products. So let's look for, I think candles are good. Let's go with beauty. All right, let's pick this here. So this is the CeraVe facial cleanser. The reason I picked it is because it has a very clear image. I think a couple of the other examples had like other graphics as well, which may have an effect on the AI being able to interpret what this product is. So let's just firstly click into this. Let's save this image to downloads. All right, so I just filled out the form, entered in the product image as well as the product name. Let's hit submit. You can see here that the system is now running. While it runs, it will take a little bit of time because we're going to be generating 3 different scripts, essentially 3 different videos. So while it's running, let me explain exactly what's happening in the system here. Basically, we're taking that image as well as the title of the product that we want to create, converting that to a base64 string. We then convert that back into a file. Now, the reason why we convert to a base64 string and then to a file again is because we need to get the format correct for this analyze product module here. So basically, we're telling ChatGPT to analyze what is the image that we uploaded. The reason we do that is because it has to be in a binary file type. Now, you can have an image URL, but because we are uploading the file, we have to make it, we have to basically make the name data. So we have to upload it as binary and make the file name data. And that's why we have these 2 previous modules to basically get the formatting correct. But basically, all the instructions here are doing is telling ChatGPT to analyze that image, but also write a full-on persona about the type of person that would actually use this product and be super detailed and realistic about every minute detail, like the physical appearance, personality, type, the way they communicate, their vibe, what's their lifestyle like, what their worldview is. So specific into the type of person who actually uses this kind of product. And so that basically forms the basis of the person that we want to have in the video. And so you can see here, we're just defining that here, prompt. After that, we are then setting the video build prompt. So if you head into this module here, we have a massive prompt here. And basically this prompt is outlining the exact way to write a UGC style video for the AI. So you can see things such as the raw iPhone aesthetic, what we want like handheld shakiness, natural camera movement, real lighting, window light, lamp overhead, not so good lighting, not perfect studio quality lighting. So we want all these like rough videos, not very polished or over refined. We're then giving it the 15-second structure. So just give you a quick overview of what to do in the first 3 seconds, the next 3 to 12 seconds, and then the final 12 to 15 seconds. Now these videos are 15 seconds long, and this is because the API at this stage, because we're using the image to video API, can only do 15 seconds maximum. If we want to create longer ads, we can, but we have to piece these videos together to create a minute-long ad or 45-second ad. After that, we are then telling it about the inputs it has, and then we go so specific into the individual type of scripts. So we tell it 3 different types of scripts to make. First one is excited discovery, next one is casual recommendation, and the third one is the in-the-moment demo. And then we go specific into second by second and give it a short breakdown of how it needs to be recorded basically. And the reason we do this is because the AI needs to write a super detailed prompt that we can then use later on when we're sending it to our image to video Sora 2 model API. After that, we're going to actually be generating the prompts. So if we head into here, we're setting it off to Gemini 2.5 Pro to actually go ahead and create those scripts. So you can see in the output here, script 1, and then we'll have somewhere here script 2. Here we go, script 2. And then at the bottom we have script 3. After that, we're then going to be extracting the prompts. So we basically use a LLM chain here to tell the model that you're going to be given 3 different scripts. You need to clearly separate them and output that. And the reason we use an LLM chain here is because we need to make sure that these scripts are perfectly outputted every single time. We're going to have it where an extra word might be left in the script, or say there's a bit of formatting issues at the end. Everything needs to be perfect, and that's why we use the LLM chain to basically tell the output and to make sure the output of these scripts is exactly like how we want it. And we use a prompt parser as well here to basically tell it exactly how it needs to be outputted. After that, we then split the prompts up, and then we head into part 2 of the system here. So this basically iterates through each of the prompts and goes ahead and creates each of the videos. So from the first prompt, we then send it off to Nana Banana. Now we use Nana Banana to create the first initial frame. Nana Banana recently has been going quite viral on the internet because it's so realistic and can create very hyper-realistic images. And that's why we use Nana Banana here. So you can see in the prompt here, basically we're telling it to take the design, layouts, and style of the image that we are uploading and adapt it, keep everything the same, but adapt the aspect ratio of image B. And so here is image B, this is base 64 string, but basically we're telling it, Nana Banana, we need you to take the image that we have and make sure that the aspect ratio is exactly how it needs to be when we send it off to Kie.AI, which is our Sora 2 API model. After that, we're then setting the frame results. So here we're just going to be setting the frame, the data. We're then going to move that base 64 string into a file, resize that image, and then we need to be storing that image in Supabase. Now the reason why is because, actually I should show you, we're going to be using Kie.AI, and we need the Sora to image to video. Now we can either use the playground here to test it out, or we can head straight to the API. And in here we have the endpoint create task, which is basically we're going to create the video, and you can see the request parameters that we need. If we scroll down, we'll get to input image URLs. This parameter is needed because we need to give the model an image to then use as a reference image to create the video. And as you can see here, this is required for the image to video model and needs to be in an array. It also mentions that the URL of the image has to be publicly accessible. If the image that Nana Banana is generating isn't stored where the API can then go have a look at it and reference it to be used in Sora 2, the system's not going to work. So basically we need to have a place to store it. And that is why we use Supabase. So as you can see, we're using a Supabase post request. Basically we're sending the image that we have just created using Nana Banana to a Supabase bucket. Now, I will quickly show you exactly how to set up Superbase. So head to superbase.com, sign up if you don't have an account already. Otherwise, click dashboard, pick the organization and project as well. On the left-hand side, you'll see storage and you'll see files here. In the files section here, you see buckets, and you basically code in your bucket into the name. So we'll just call it Sora 2 video generation. And turn on the toggle that says public bucket. This needs to be turned on so then our API later on can actually look inside this bucket and get the URL so it can actually see what image needs to be used to create the video later on. Cool. You need to click into this bucket. Great. Now if you head into the URL here, you'll see superbase.com dashboard project. We'll have a unique identifier, which is your project ID, storage files, buckets, and then the name of the bucket that you've just created. If you head back to n8n here, you can see in my URL that I've been sending and running a request to, it has a unique ID .superbase.co/storage/v1/object/temp image store 2. This here is the name of my bucket that I'm using. If I delete this, it's going to break the system, so that's why I'm not deleting it right now. Basically, if you're trying to set this up for yourself after downloading this system, in here, just click into the URL, copy the project ID, and replace it with mine over there. Then the next thing to do is copy the name of your bucket and paste that and replace it with mine over there. The date now and binary.data.file name, leave that as is, don't change that. The reason why we have date now is because in Superbase, when you're uploading a file to a bucket, it needs to be a unique name. It cannot just be file name. So if we head into n8n here, you'll see, if I get to the previous image, resize image, I believe, yeah, file name is file.png. If we didn't add this date now variable at the start of each name, it's going to upload every single image as file name file.png. And Superbase is basically then going to reject the second image that gets uploaded because it doesn't know which one is which, doesn't know which one is unique. And so that's why we need to have date now and a bunch of other formatting at the front to then basically make the file that we're uploading unique. Once that's been stored, we're then going to be editing the fields to getting the exact URL of the file that we just uploaded, storing that as URL, and then we are going to then use a code module here. And the reason why we're using code and not just directly referencing the API, I spent a couple hours trying to fix this and trying to get this working, and the best solution was just to use code to just format the entire JSON correctly and then send that entire JSON structure to the API. This is basically what it's doing here. It's not doing any code, but what it's doing is setting up the JSON to be correctly how Kie.AI likes it. So if you scroll down, you'll see a little bit more. Request example. Yeah. So the JSON needs to be exactly like this. And this is exactly how it is showing up in n8n. In the next module, generate video, this is where we actually are generating the video for Kie.AI. And you can see here in JSON, because that's the payload that we're sending the entire body from the previous module because it's already been set up. So after that, we then have a little loop section here that basically checks, is the video done? So Kie.AI only has two APIs at this stage, create task and then query task. And the second API is basically just checking, has the video been completed or not? And so we're waiting a few seconds, 25 seconds. We're then running a request to then check the status of the video. We're just using the task ID, so it knows exactly which video we're talking about. We have a quick little module here that checks if there's any errors at all. Now, if there are no errors, we just continue onwards, which is exactly how it should be all the time. We're then going to check the last module, which is check status. And this basically tells us, has the video been completed or not? So if we go to a previous run here, say 26 out of 30, right? And it's in the false branch because it hasn't been completed. You can see we have a variable here called state, and it says generating. So it's still generating. But once we got to run 30 out of 30, we're looking for, that's in the tree branch, we're looking for if the state equals success. And as you can see here, state equals success. So that means the video has been completed, and we continue onwards with our next module. The reason why we use a code module here is because in the get query task endpoint, here is the request. So basically just checking, as I just mentioned, we're checking if the video is completed. The response looks like this. So it's like 200, message success, task ID, model, state, parameters, result JSON here. This is the result URL, and that's going to give you the exact URL of the video that you've just created. It's in an array. And so what we do is we use a code script here to basically get us on the video URL. We then run a get request to then get that into a file, because in my case, I wanted to store this in Google Drive. The only way to do that from a URL upload it is by running a HTTP request, getting the binary, and then being able to upload that binary into Google Drive. So while I've been talking and yapping away, this entire system here has been completed. And this second one here is just if I wanted to create 10-second videos. This one here is 15-second videos, which means we can now head to Google Drive and go find our videos. All right, so we have video 1. Let's see how good this came out.
Okay, wait. I literally just washed my face with this for the first time, and my skin doesn't feel tight at all. You know how some cleansers like strip everything? This one, the CeraVe facial cleanser, hydrating cleanser, feels so soft. It's actually insane. I'm really impressed. Yeah.
Okay, so that video came out really well. The product was like really close to the camera all the time. Seemed really natural. She was holding it correctly, and you can clearly see what the product was, and all the text is correct, which is perfect. Only downside is that right at the end, it got a little bit cut off, as well as I think there's like water on her forehead. I don't know why that's there, but those are only 2 things that I would say could be better next time. All right, this is the next video.
Okay, if you need a super basic, non-irritating cleanser that just works, honestly, it's this, the CeraVe Hydrating Cleanser. It's got ceramides, hyaluronic acid. It just does the job without any fuss. I mean, my skin never feels stripped or dry after, which is the most important part. Seriously, it's a class.
Okay, so this video wasn't too bad. The way she was holding the product was a little bit interesting, because she was holding it like... Yeah, it was just a bit interesting the way she was holding it, but it's not like it was hard to see. Like in this frame here, you can clearly see it's CeraVe Hydrating Facial Cleanser, which is exactly how it is listed online, and it's perfectly presented. The only other thing was there was music in the background, which I didn't request or add, but apart from that, it was actually a really good ad. All right, last video.
Alright, first step of the morning is always cleansing. Also just use 1 pump of the CeraVe Hydrating Cleanser. See? It doesn't really foam, which is good. It just feels, I don't know, creamy and gentle. It's not supposed to strip your skin barrier or anything. And that's it. My face just feels balanced and ready.
Alright, so this one unfortunately didn't do so well. But that being said, it did have its moments where it did really shine. So like showcasing the consistency on the hand, even like application to like the skin is exactly what these UGC style creators would do. Although that being said, this part here where she was washing her face, that is clear to see that is AI, and that is not very high quality. So unfortunately this video wasn't so good, but the other 2 weren't too bad. There are aspects where she was drying her face, that was really good. Showcasing how smooth and clear her skin is, which is great, exactly what you need for this kind of video. But then again, the end there, I don't know, maybe that's just the sun shining. No, I think it's just something odd happening there. So unfortunately, this video can't be used, but at least we did come out with 2 videos that are really realistic and can be used quite well. So guys, that's going to wrap up for today. I hope you guys found a lot of value from this video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button because it helps us out a ton. Also, if you don't want to miss more AI UGC style videos where we go more in depth into creating longer videos or more realistic videos, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you're a business and you want to actually utilize the power of generating AI UGC style videos for your marketing campaigns, then there's going to be a link down below to actually work with us. We actually can create full systems like this, so then your marketing team can generate UGC style content at a fraction of the cost and 10 times as fast. Apart from that, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks.